Three, two, one. Greetings from Malibu, California. Apparently, my microphone was not working properly. I'm not sure. We got all this going on. So I don't know if we have a bad adapter. Something's off. It's been through a lot. We covered a few fires, and maybe it broke down. So I'm talking to you on the MacBook Pro. It's like a M1, so it's an early version of the modern stuff. And so I pretty sure you guys all can hear me this time. Okay? So okay. So one of the things I wanted to just do a quick update is uh many question what's going on with PCH. Okay, so I do have a little bit of information because I continue to do follow-up stories on the reconstruction, those people impacted by the fire in that area. So I could tell you a lot of a few things. First of all, they don't expect to open up PCH to public traffic until May 31st, which will probably end up being June. May 31st, June. Yeah. Okay. Once again, this key rate too low message. I don't know. I need to fix my computer. Um, so, uh, taking the trip through the burn area does require for you to get a pass, which you can if you have a medical situation down at UCLA in Santa Monica, vice versa. It'll get you back. I'll tell you this, it's like an obstacle course. There's a lot of trucks and slow traffic, but it's still much quicker than if you were to take the three sides of the, as I call it, the rectangle, over the hill, down the 101, and then down the 405 to the 10 or wherever you need to get. So it's still much quicker. It does require like a medical pass. Now, you can ask, like, okay, Anne, how do you do it? It's very simple. A member of the press, and I cover stories every single day um, within the area, or at least need to get through it. Or usually, I cover stories within it. Uh, one of them is story that I would, really want to complete is a restaurant that's within that area that's closed, that's had a hard time staying afloat because no one can get to it. It requires a pass, it requires special access. But the construction workers who are rebuilding the infrastructure, such as, Edison or telecom, um, they're able to eat there. But apparently he's having a hard time. The owner's having a hard time, having them, keeping employees there to get them in the area. So I want to do a story on that. They make great breakfast burritos. Um, so just that's upcoming. I kind of wish my microphone worked, on here, but it'll probably work on the iPhone, which is what I planned to be using for that story. The other thing too is today they did an interview. Somebody chose to do an interview because during the Paradise Fire, I was doing continuous live video, which was rather particular or particular. Is that particular? Is that the right word? To them because no one else was. And I was like, what was your reasoning for that? And it was very simple. It's just I didn't want my phone to be destroyed. If it got destroyed or, confiscated or whatever reason it may be, water into it. I just wanted to get the video out as fast as possible. And, later on, a few days later, or yeah, 2 days later, I did find out that, the video did make it onto ABC Network News and Fox News. So for once, the 2 played well together, which is pretty interesting. And, I just don't quite remember the event that well. It's hard for me to kind of, like, when they ask me questions, I didn't know how to answer them because we just do what we're supposed to do, and that is, uh, to provide the information, and I don't know, they said, did you feel like you were in danger?" And I was like, "Not really, it's just I've seen other fires here in Malibu, and it won't be the last." So that's pretty much the way it works, and it's a beautiful place to live. I'm very privileged to be here. Um, Sometimes I call myself a spoiled brat because I don't always appreciate it. But when you go out and you gotta do an interview, like in downtown Los Angeles, like more on the um, western side, you kind of like get a special appreciation to the nature that you get to live around, uh, and that is pretty cool. And yeah, so right now, I'm pretty much just practicing going live. Facebook is changing their policy on our live videos. No longer will they be on there forever. Uh, they will be deleted after a month or, or so. Um, and so that's it's kind of like it's not a permanent archive anymore. So I'll have to like record them and then upload. But most of my specialty is in doing live television, uh, and or live video, is whatever you want to call it. And that's one of the things that uh, apparently people seem to appreciate, or my talent is to be able to pull it off. And I think that was a great example. Is during a fire, you literally used, I was literally on one one phone, second phone, third phone, and a fourth. And it wasn't because different telephone numbers or different, like, some people like have their private and business phones. They literally have to do with networks like AT&T. Um, but by the way, that was Verizon, AT&T, that kind of stuff. And that's how I was able to continue to go live uninterrupted. It didn't work on one, great, drop it, and then come back up on Facebook on the other network. Um, which and this one was which one was this one? Yeah, that was Verizon. So that's kinda the way it worked. Now, the one thing is I'm not very happy with the fact this microphone thing's not working. It's causing me a little bit of distress, in terms of, like, it should work, but it's not, and I'll have to investigate a little bit more. The other thing too, Marcia, is that you? Really? You're watching me? Multitasker. Wow. I'm a multitasker. Well, that's pretty much what we have to do nowadays, be multitaskers, whatever. And so I just wanna say hello. It's been a long day, um, getting into downtown, going through the burn zone and having to relive that, and knowing that your friends' homes burned down is very sad. It is places that I don't I say partied. Yeah, partied. This is partied. We had meals, we played loud music, we got to do neat things, we had great dinner right on the water. They're gone. 3 of them. 3 of them. 3. And I don't even know that many people here in town. So, for 3 homes or 3 families, for me to know that their homes are completely gone is difficult. Um, and I know those people really cared, and they took tremendous, uh I mean, they just really worked hard on their properties and to keep them safe. And matter of fact, one of them even planned for a fire, and his home was completely destroyed. And so, I message him and that kind of stuff and says, that's the only way I could describe your home was because you had a certain characteristic to the front of it that I could tell. And it was only a few residents down from the rest of the folk that I knew. And so I don't know why this particular area was hit so hard. Um, I, plan to do a little more reporting. My original story was on the Franklin fire, which was in December of 2024. Um, so when 2025 came around, and that fire, that kind of piqued my interest because it's like, what's going on here? We have these hurricane winds that are taking us down, pretty much, and there's no air show. I mean, air show meaning what the fire department calls all the airplanes, helicopters, and everything putting out the fire. Unfortunately, the winds were just a little too strong and they could not fly. And if you also notice, there's not much media coverage from overhead of these fires because also it was too strong for the helicopters to fly. So a lot of it really did depend on us on the ground reporting uh, live video on cellular networks, which weren't your run of the mill. And I think that's the other story we'll have to touch base on is we have some phones, some plans you can get special service on. It means uninterruptible. So you're given priority. One thing we were having problems with, of course, is the power. So if you start losing power to cell sites, that is going to become an issue. You're going to end up losing connectivity to any cell phone. And so basically it was one of those things where you jump from one phone to the next to the next. And that's kind of the way it worked. So I just gonna do this as a test video. Um, I can delete it, um, but just wanted to say hi. Haven't seen you guys in a while. Send me a message or something. It'd be nice. Come come visit us in Malibu. We'll have a martini or two. So goodbye from Malibu, California. I'm a very lucky girl to be here.